And it is day one of a government shutdown, the Senate failing to pass a funding bill as Democrats hold out to extend Obamacare tax credits. House Republican Conference Chair and Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain is with us. Just a little bit ago, within the last half hour, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was on MSNBC. You followed him. I'm not sure if you heard his comments, but just so everybody at home can hear, this is what Chuck Schumer is saying this morning.
We've been trying to sit down with them for months. Hakeem and I sent a letter in late July. We demanded actually to them. We demanded that they sit down with us because we needed to work this out in a bipartisan way. And let me just say one thing. When I was majority leader, we negotiated 13 bills. No shutdowns because we sat down with the Republicans in each case and they got something, we got something. The only reason we're at this thing is they thought they could bludgeon us without even one bit of consultation. Now that they've seen they can't bludgeon us, let's sit down and try to come to an agreement.
Okay, so that's different from how he approached this in March. And you can hear him there. That's his take. What's yours?
Yeah. My take is, listen, we've listened to the American people. The American people want to keep more money in their pocket, right? Let's not forget with the working families tax cuts, every single Democrat voted to raise the American people's taxes. And that's exactly their negotiation point right now is $1.5 trillion. Don't come to the table unless you're going to give us $1.5 trillion. Well, that's a non-starter for us. So we're willing to sit down and negotiate. We've been willing to sit down and negotiate. But you got to come to the table with some reasonable negotiations for the American people, not for the Democrats or the Republicans, but for the American people.
Just so people understand, what were they asking for that would have been in addition in terms of government spending when it comes to these Obamacare subsidies?
Yeah, well, it's kind of two things. Remember in the working families tax cut, the one big beautiful bill, we took out a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. We made sure that we were good stewards of the American people's tax dollars. What the Democrats want to do is add all of those subsidies back in, funding for liberal radio like NPR, to make sure that illegals get free government programs, and basically just to fund radical progressive Democrat agenda programs like climate change in foreign countries. Come on, Dana, we are $37 trillion in debt. We have waste, fraud, and abuse running rampant in government. And seriously, that's what you want to start with?
Okay, let me also ask you about this. Russell Vought over at the Office of Management and Budget has said, knock yourselves out, Democrats, shut it down, and we'll fire non-essential employees of the federal government. I feel like that's a very strong card to play. Will they play it?
Yeah, it's very, very strong. There's no question. But let's remember, the Democrats put us in this situation. We wouldn't be here if they had voted like they had done 13 times prior to fund the government. So President Trump and the administration is making some very tough decisions with America being $37 trillion in debt. So they are absolutely preparing to make the tough calls. I hope it doesn't get to that point, Dana. I hope the Democrats come to their senses. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, let's listen to President Trump yesterday talking about this.
The last person that wants it shut down is us. Now, with that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
Who has the higher pain tolerance, the Republicans or the Democrats?
Well, I'd rather be us than them right now. So to me, I think we have a higher pain tolerance. And I think the reason is because 77 million Americans said, hey, we got to get our financial house in order. We got to bring law and order back to the streets. We got to make sure that we keep more money in my pocket as an American taxpayer. That's the party that I think has the upper hand right now. Compare and contrast that to the Democrats that want to raise your taxes and want to defund the police and are okay with crime in their cities.
But would you say that when it comes to health care, and people are concerned, it's expensive, they're worried about losing it. Also, people are leaving employer-sponsored health care to go to the Obamacare system, which is one of the things that Republicans fought against way back when, but now it's fully entrenched. Is it time for the Republicans to come forward with some proactive ideas on how to get this market more competitive, to help bring down prices?
Yeah. The short answer to that is yes. Is the healthcare system is broken. You got insurance companies and hospitals, making oodles and oodles of money. I applaud President Trump for doing what he did yesterday. He said he was going to bring down drug prices, and he did. And that's a negotiation. That's a conversation that absolutely needs to be had. But the conversation right now is about funding. So as soon as we fund the government, we are more than happy to have those conversations, and those conversations need to be had because that runs out, and the time frame for that is December. The funding fight has already passed. That was yesterday.
All right, well, stay in touch because I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. Lisa McClain, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.